Welcome, useful content community. If you are looking to simplify your content creation, well, you have to stay tuned because this week we are honored to have with us content creator, podcaster, and marketing coach Leon George to show us how to do that.
Broadcasting live from Relate Studios in Trinidad and Tobago, it's the Useful Content Creation Show with your host, Juma Bannister.
This is the Useful Content Creation Show where business owners and entrepreneurs come to improve the content they create by educating themselves with useful strategies and tactics in marketing, business, and content creation. My name is Juma Bannister, and I'm happy to be with you. I am your host. And for those who are in the comments, remember we are the Useful Content Community. We own the bulb emoji. Let me show you what that bulb emoji looks like because we do have this there. Let me show you what it looks like. That's those throw up your bulbs just like that. And if you are in the comments, drop your hashtag UCC Live. And if you are here on the replay, drop your hashtag UCC Replay. And for those who are in my Facebook group, 130 somebody strong, if you're here to learn new things, drop your hashtag Learn with UCC. And today we are having some internet issues. Usually I don't start the show without my guest, but I didn't want us not to be on time. And we have Leon George with us. Let me just bring her on stage into the room from backstage. She's been having some tea. I think I don't know, she might be into tea or coffee. Let me bring her on stage one time and add Leon to the stream.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Leon. Good to have you. I'm here. I'm hearing myself. Is that me? Oh.
I'm just hearing one of you.
I'm hearing an echo. Let me see. All right, that might be feedback through the system. Do you have headphones?
In close proximity, no.
I'm still hearing myself. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me try this again. You're definitely hearing myself. Maybe it's here. No, it's not here. Yeah. Okay, so here's what you do, right? If you have some headphones, you could grab it because I'm hearing myself back into the feed. So as like two of me talking to me. You want us to go grab that while we do the rundown here, and we'll just jump you back in real quick.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. All right, so Leon will be back in a second. Let me just click on stage. She'll be back in a second with headphones. Sometimes when we set up and if we do have headphones, it feeds back. But great to see you all guys. This will be an interesting show this week because of our internet service providers in Trinidad and Tobago. My own in particular is giving a tiny bit of trouble. I tested before we came on. Let me see who's in the comments saying hello. Hey Robert, great to see you on this show this evening. And you are echo. Somebody's confirming that I am in fact echoing. And Dana throwing up your bulbs. Tell me if it's okay now, and I will know that is in fact the feedback from the from Leon's headphones. Well, from a phone. She had to kind of switch with her internet setup because it was in fact giving trouble. Hi Robert, UCC Live. Thank you so much for jumping on. And Shania inside our Facebook group. Shania is like one of the few people whose actual profile picture comes up from our Facebook group. It's good to see you. Good to see you. And Learn with UCC, that Kieran is there. Good now. Sounding much better now. It's okay now. Kieran with copious amounts of ball. I love that. He just light the entire place up. Leon will be back. Is she back? I think she's back. Are you back, Leon? I think she's back. Let me see if I can add her to the stream again. Maybe. Oh no, I think something has happened. I think she's frozen there. We're just battling with some internet issues here. We'll get it right. Don't worry, people. It'll be a great show. We're just battling with a tiny bit of internet issues. So let me take her back off and we're going to add her back, okay? As soon as she is ready. But tonight we're going to be talking about how to simplify your content creation. And of course, that is something that is very important because all of us who are running businesses and who are wanting to get customers, we do have to create content and put it out there. And Leon is somebody who's experienced in coaching people in doing that. And she will come and share with us some of the things she does in order to help people simplify their content creation process. And we definitely are looking forward to hearing Leon talk about that this evening. Right, so let's do this thing. Let me show this thing here. Leon should be on any minute now. Right, here she is. She's coming back on. I'm going to add her to the stream one more time, right? See, she got some headphones. There she is. There she is. There's Leon. Is
Hello.
that okay?
Are you hearing me? Is this better?
Yes, fantastic. Fantastic. All right, we're set. We're set. Thank you so much, people, for sticking around. We're set. We can roll with it. So we did the intro already. And let me just start back from where we should be. All right, today I'm happy to introduce our special guest who is going to teach us useful things on how to simplify your content creation. Welcome to the show again, Leon.
Thank you so much for having me, Juma. And thank you for all those who are tuning in the comments, who kept us company while we sorted it out. You're already real troopers, so thank you for that.
Very much so, very much so. They kept the thing going. So I have to say thank you to the people who are very, very faithful, the useful content community, of which Leon is a part. She joined the group, and we're thankful to have her on. As the word she uses a lot is vibing with us this evening. So Leon, first of all, the very, very first question: why yellow?
I wish there was some deep sentimental meaning behind yellow, but honestly, that was just the color that the brand strategist who I hired when I started my business chose. She said, you know what, Leon, I don't see you in much colors, but whenever I see you in yellow, I remember you. So that's how I kind of curated an entire life around the color yellow, just to make it easier so that when we're creating content, I don't always have to like throw on something yellow. You know, yellow is just my way of life. My nails are yellow. My wall is yellow, so I don't always have to like find a yellow piece of clothing. I just go with the flow and I just make it a lot simpler. So yellow was chosen for me, and I embraced it.
Oh, it's a good color. It's a nice choice. You do well
Thank
with
you.
it.
Thank
Excellent.
you.
All right, so some people may not know who you are. So please tell the people a bit about yourself and how you came to be a marketing coach. Now I know a lot of the story already, so you start any way you want and give people the rundown.
Yes. Okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Leon George, and my story is very unique, right? So, in 2017, I got called to the bar as an attorney at law. I was just 23 years old. I was such a baby, and it was such a great achievement and accomplishment, right? And during that moment as well is when I started to feel like if something was wrong. I started to feel like this gap, this sort of unfulfillment. And I didn't really understand why I would feel unfulfilled because I was young, I had a prestigious career ahead of me. Life was good according to the public. Life was good. I was destined to be like this huge success, right? I pushed forward. I got a corporate job for 2 years. And during that time, that feeling of unfulfillment arose again. And again, I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? I should be feeling happy. I should be content, but I definitely wasn't. And that's when I turned into personal development and getting to know myself a bit better because up until that point, right? So at that time, I was probably like 24, 25. Everything that I did was based on what people told me that I needed to do. So I got good grades. I always got A's, top the class. I got like awards, all that fancy stuff. I got accepted into law. I aced law school, every single thing. And no matter how much I followed the steps that people told me that I should take to be successful and to be happy, I did not get that feeling of happiness, right? So upon embarking into personal development, I realized, you know what, this corporate world is probably not the best of fit for me and my personality. And I said, okay, if I can get a do-over, if I can start over in a career, why not choose a career based on my strengths? And everyone always told me that I was a great communicator. Like all my friends are like, when Leon speaks, when Leon writes, the world listens, right? I have a way with words, I have a way with writing words, etc. So I went to my good friend Google. We all know the University of Google. I went to my good friend Google and I started to search for careers around communicating, right? And I saw marketing top in the list. So I said, you know what? I can do this. I can figure my way around this, right? So I started off as a copywriter, someone who writes social media content, emails, blogs, website copy, etc. And then I dived into the full world of social media marketing, right? I enrolled from top programs, courses, certificates, etc. I taught myself it. I learned from the best of the best. And that kind of led me to here where it is now. I am a marketing coach and I'm helping small business owners, coaches, service providers really and truly use marketing, use content creation in a way that makes sense for them and in a way that attracts clients to their business. So that's a bit about me and my journey. And do let me know if you have any questions, any comments. I'd love to like do a follow up if anybody found that interesting.
Oh, that's good. That's an excellent story. So you are 100% kind of self-taught. You didn't go to school for marketing.
I didn't go to school for marketing, and I am so happy I did not go to school for marketing. Y'all, I went to school 5 years for law school. On top of like secondary school, like Cape, all of that. I spent 5 years pursuing a degree and then a certificate, etc. I was not interested in going back into another traditional school, right? So my marketing is very practical, it's very self-taught. And I also work with people who major in marketing and they're like, Leon, I've never heard this term. Leon, I've never come again, I've never heard about this strategy, right? So I'm not really sure what is taught in traditional marketing, but I know practical marketing. I know the marketing you need to get people to stop, pay attention, engage, and buy from you. That is the marketing I know. That's the marketing that I swear by.
Yeah. Marketing it moves rapidly. It's very dynamic, and even more so now. And the other day we had a short conversation online, and the question was asked about, do people really have to go to school for marketing these days? And my response was, it's not really necessary. The value of a degree is going down rapidly, unless the course is being taught by a practitioner who has practical knowledge and who is keeping up with things. More than likely, your better bet is to just learn for yourself or go and work for a great agency, and you'll learn everything you need to know.
Definitely.
So that's that with that. For all those who are thinking about marketing careers, but you have to have results. You have to show results. You got to say you have to produce results. Otherwise, people will be like, oh, okay, just
you have to have a track record. You have to have people willing to advocate, on your behalf and to show that it's not just you learning A, B, and C's, but you've implemented it on their business, on their life, and they have seen a difference,
Yeah, they have to have. Yeah, you have to have that proof. All right, that's good. That's good to hear your story and to hear what you've been up to. What are you watching on Netflix these days?
Oh my God! Do you know that I am a Netflix binger? You did your research. You did. I like that. Oh, yeah, no one has asked me that in a while. So I actually started probably the first 10 minutes of the new season of Stranger Things. I didn't reach that far into it, but it's definitely on my binge list.
Yeah, it's going decent. I mean, some of the things I'm like, but I'm trying to avoid spoilers like the plague. I'm dodging spoilers left and right online. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
All right, great. So let's jump into the practical things we came to learn here today. Now, I'm going to ask you the question I ask everyone. The big question is, what makes your content useful, Leon?
I love that question. I think what makes my content useful and really stand out is how simple it is. A lot of the people who follow me, who engage, who is a part of my community, knows very little about marketing, which makes a lot of sense. I'm not marketing to marketers, right? I'm marketing to business owners, people who have a skill set or a product and they want an exchange for that, right? So my content is useful because it is 100% simple and I have a non-marketer brain. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't grow up in a world of marketing. I grew up very, let me get it right, left brain. So very logical, very black and white. And then I dive more into right brain, very creative and very artistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a unique blend of both of them. As in, I see, okay, what is the logical thing? And I also see, okay, what is the very artistic and creative way to express the same logical thing. So I think like
Mm-hmm.
what really makes my content super unique is that anybody can implement it. People have
Mm-hmm.
watched or listened to my podcast, implemented it, get results, and they're like, Leon, I'm not sharing your podcast with anyone because it works so well for me. I don't know if I want to share my secret with everybody else around me. It is so simple and easy for anybody to literally go on my podcast, go on my Instagram, go on my LinkedIn, and start to adopt strategies, start to take steps, etc., and see results, right? I feel like there was this kind of blue when it comes to marketing. There's this kind of blue when it comes to content creation because so many people do it so differently, right? And I think like what makes my content again just so unique is that I am able to kind of bridge the gap in terms of I know you may have heard A, B, and C, but here is all you really, really need to create content. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why a lot of people kind of embrace it.
Right, right. Excellent, excellent. And people need simple stuff, especially if they don't come from that world. Sometimes the things that they get are so industry specific and a little confusing. So simplifying is better.
Yeah.
Right, right. And that's what we came to talk about. So let me ask the question now. Why should anyone really care about simplifying content creation? Isn't that just shooting videos with your phone and posting it to social media? That doesn't seem very difficult. Why should people care?
Yeah. I think people should care because when it comes to content creation, it is about consistency and it's about long term.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that there would rarely be any one piece of content that will do it for you. Even
Mm-hmm.
if you have a viral video, you need to continue creating for people to remember you, right? So in that instance, it makes a lot of sense to simplify the content creation process because
Mm-hmm.
it is likely to be sustainable. At the end of the day, our business is not content creation. Content creation is an aspect of our business, right? And then our business is an aspect of our entire life. Like
Mm-hmm.
you may see Juma on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, shooting these videos, but I am sure he has a full happy life outside of what you see in those videos, right? So in that instance, he's like maybe half full. In that
Right.
instance, you want to ensure that you know what content creation happens around my life, and my life is not around content creation. So that's why we focus on simplifying. That's why we focus on making it so doable that someone who has a job with their business and 3 kids, this is me describing one of my clients, a job, business, 3 kids, wife, house owner, all these different things can still be able to create content consistently. They can still create a loyal fan base that knows that even if they disappear for 2 days, they're coming back on the third day, right? They can still be able to do that because they have simplified it. And that's why it's so important because content creation is not a one and done. It's not a, if you shoot a video and then it takes so much energy from you that you're not able to do it again for the next 2 weeks, you're doing it wrong. You're doing
Mm-hmm.
it wrong, right? You
Mm-hmm.
should be able to come back. You should be able to snap back. You should be able to say, okay, you should be able to have a system that allows you to mass produce because that is what makes the most sense. You're building a loyal fan base through your content, which means you need to be loyal to them. You need to be loyal
Mm-hmm.
to your content if you want them to be loyal back to you. So that's why simplifying content is like a no brainer and it's something that we should all strive to achieve.
Yeah, I love what you said about building your life. Shouldn't build your life around the content. The content should be built around your life, and it kind of flips on its head some people's concept of how content should be. And you're right. They actually have stuff to do, and why then make that the focus or the nucleus of your day? It should be something that serves a purpose, and it shouldn't really manage you. You should manage it. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. I love that. All right. So let's talk a bit about how we do that now. So you have a framework or a system for simplifying your content creation. Take us through the framework, and let's start from the very beginning. And you tell us where we start, and let's go through it a little bit.
Ooh, okay. So if someone comes to me and they're like, Leon, I want to simplify content, the first thing I would actually ask about is their life. And sometimes we're like, what? But yes, if you had a choice between having a fulfilling life and a fulfilling business, which one would you choose? Most people would choose a fulfilling life because their business could come to an end. Their business is only one small aspect, probably 20% of your entire life, right? So in that instance, we start with the life. Okay, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? What is your life activities like? What do you do on a Monday? What do you do on a Tuesday? What do you do on weekends, right? I don't start with a blanket in terms of post every day or post 4 times a week. I can't tell you that unless I know who you are and what you do on a day-to-day basis, right? So let's say you're a full-time entrepreneur and you work 4 days for the week. You work Monday to Thursday. And you know your Mondays are your admin days, right? At the same time, you can decide that, you know what, on Mondays, I wouldn't really show my face, but maybe on Mondays, I can post graphics or I can post, more still photos of myself because I wouldn't be camera ready on a Monday, right? Let's say on Tuesdays where you have like client calls and you would be camera ready because your Zoom is on and you're already dressed. That may be the time you may decide, you know what, on Tuesday I'm going to record some reels or TikToks. On Tuesdays, I'm going to show my face in stories, right? Tuesday is going to also be a video content day because I am already video ready. More than likely, I have a backdrop or I have a blank wall. I have something, right, that would make it easy for me to create videos on a Tuesday, which means on a Monday, when you have admin, on a Monday, you're also outlining what you're going to post in the videos, maybe finding the songs, etc. Right? So you see how it kind of works? Like, let's say on Friday is your life admin day. So you're not really by a desk or a laptop. Then on Friday could be the day that you have pre-scheduled content. So while you're on the go, you're in Port of Spain or San Fernando or wherever else in the world, right? You're shopping, you're up and down, running errands. You know your content is being posted even while you are up and down doing life things, right? Once you are clear on, okay, what is my schedule, what is my day, and how you can fit content through it, then the content creation process itself is really, really simple. You come up with the content idea, and in case you're like, where do I get the content idea from? You get the content idea either from your own thoughts, your own ideas, or your client's thoughts, right? And when I say your own thoughts or ideas, you start off with you. Like, what is your story? What are some things that make you unique, right? What is your unique thoughts or perception around certain topics in your industry? So if you're a content creator, what is your unique perspective about content? So like how I would say, create your content around your life. That's a unique perspective versus your life around content. That's not sustainable, right? After you come up with the ideas, then you're going to decide how am I going to format it, right? Is it that I am going to, because remember the ideas go on a social platform and each social platform have its own format. So am I going to do TikToks? And in that instance, what day am I going to record the TikToks, right? Am I going to do still photos for LinkedIn or Instagram? In that instance, am I going to take a brand photo shoot to make it easier? Or am I going to post a lot of self-portraits, right? So you want to have those photos ready. Am I in an industry where it makes sense to highlight more my products? Like, am I more of a product-based business owner? Am I more of a teaching industry where it makes sense to have a lot of infographics, a lot of long-form content like podcasts, blogs, etc.? So deciding how you're going to format the content and then how you're going to outline it, and then you simply refine it by way of caption, right? And that's kind of like the process. Also, with regards to scheduling, you can decide, am I somebody who's going to schedule on the go? There are some people who prefer that, or am I somebody who's going to batch and have it come out on a particular day, schedule it in advance and come out on a particular day? And that's how you kind of format it in essence. And that's how you can simplify content from first deciding, okay, what is my life like Monday to Sunday or Sunday to Monday, right? And then what is the blankets, the pockets that I have throughout the day for content? And then what stage of the content am I going to do? Because not every stage will require you to post. Some might require you to record. Some might require you to brainstorm. So going back to the example of Monday being your admin day, you can say, you know what, Monday I'm also brainstorming content ideas. I'm going to, if I'm a TikTok person, I'm going to look at all the audios that I have saved and see which ones I'm actually going to use, right? If you're a LinkedIn person, okay, what are the different ways I want to communicate via LinkedIn? Do I want to do joint lives like this? You know, do I want to do my own videos, etc.? What are the different ways? If I'm on Instagram, do I want to do carousels, etc.? Right? So because there are so many different platforms, it's on you to decide, okay, how am I going to format it? And then actually structuring it in a way that people will stop, pay attention, listen, consume, engage, and want to take action.
Right, I hear you. There's so much to unpack there, and I do have a lot of questions. But let me just go down to the comments real quick, and because people were commenting of, I feel like I feel like I should have majored in marketing, but I've learned so much through social media itself. This was a comment made by Shania much earlier on when we were talking about the whole idea of whether you should go to school for marketing. Thank you for that comment, Shania.
Thank
So
you.
Sharon was saying, true, I agree, but how do you draw followers? And this may have been in response to something you were saying earlier. We'll get to that. Keep that in mind. And Stacey Harris says, content creation happens around my life. I like that. Yeah, so we do have somebody. So we evangelizing now. So Stacey knows what to do. And Sharon is asking, best tools used for content creation are, and there should be an ellipsis on that, because that's a long list. All right, so we're going to take those into consideration. We're going to come back to that. But let me ask a question from everything that you said, because you gave us a whole mouthful about how the content creation, simplifying it, goes. And I love the fact that you start in the person's life, so it gets ultra customized in that sense.
Definitely.
And so it's not a one size fits all, as content strategy should never be. But let me ask a question: how does one person discover what are the places that they should be posting? Because there's so many options where people should post, but you don't want to expend energy in places that don't make sense for you, and because there are some people who are of the opinion and of the thought that post everywhere all at once. What is your take on how people should choose where they post?
Yeah, so definitely don't post everywhere all at once. I would say, like, if you are very new to the world of content creation, choose one or at most two platforms to focus on. So for me, I started off on LinkedIn. I switched over to Instagram. I am somewhat on TikTok here and there, but Instagram is like my go-to. LinkedIn secondary, TikTok tertiary, but I have fun with it. So I would say definitely choose one or two. So with regards to which platform, I think it's twofold. So I think the first thing to consider is, okay, where do my ideal audience hang out and where are they likely to be? So it requires you to do a bit of research around, okay, who am I serving and what is the platform that they're likely to be on, right? Also, the second thing to consider is, well, which platform allows me to create the simplest, right? A lot of people are pro Instagram because of the simplicity of like just going on Instagram story and talking. But then there are people who are against Instagram and saying Instagram is too confusing. There's lives, there's reels, there's still posts. Everything is changing. I am just done with Instagram. I am sticking to Facebook, right? So I think it's a mixture of both. If you can get a nice merge between my ideal audience hangs out here, they are likely to see my content here because your content is for them, right? So you want them to see it. And at the same time, I actually find it simple to create on this platform, right? You can use LinkedIn as an example as well, because I know some people are streaming on LinkedIn. Some people, they swear by LinkedIn. It's so simple, so easy. Some people are like, LinkedIn, no thank you, right? So it's really based on, okay, which platform do I find it is easy or simple for me to create and what makes sense? Meaning, where is my ideal audience likely to see my content? Because you're posting it for them, right? So that's how I answer that question.
Yes, you're definitely posting it for them, and it doesn't make sense putting it in a place where the people who you want to actually see it don't know. It's interesting that you should talk about the different platforms, as in this could do this and then that could do this one. For somebody who is not good at, who has no experience in creating content, what would you say is like the easiest format for somebody to just jump into without any experience? And for people who are without any type of posting, they came onto platforms and all they have done is look. What
Yeah.
is the type of content you think that they should start off with that makes it easy for them to enter into that world of creating?
I love this question. You're hitting hard with the question. 10 out of 10. So definitely when it comes to that question, I would say if you're someone who never created anything and you definitely want to start with a still photo of yourself and a caption. That is like the simplest. We're going back to basics, right? That was Instagram before. My Instagram was like this photo gallery. Start with that. There are still people who read captions and want to be enticed with a photo. Of course, especially if you're a business owner, you want to use a high quality photo of yourself, right? You want to at least get good lighting, ask a friend to take it for you, ask a photographer, do some brand photo shoots, etc. Um, and if you are a bit camera shy and you still want to send your message and make sure your message is heard, definitely consider quotes or tweets. Those are impactful as well, right? Do that consistently for about 2 months and then commit to one video per month. And then the next month, commit to two videos per month. And then the third month, commit to weekly videos, one video per week until you are just naturally more comfortable. So you're stretching your comfort zone little by little by little. But definitely still photos and quotes if it is you just want to get started without all the pressure of, like learning every single thing. Photos and still quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think,
Yeah.
especially since it's so easy now these days to, even if you don't want to put something of yourself, you could go get a stock photo and put some
Stock
text over it.
photos,
You know,
definitely. And a lot of my friends, especially the more busier ones, we started off with stock photos before they got like their brand photos and stuff. I would say the disclaimer, there are so many stock photo sites. Like if you're someone who looks like me, you're dark skin, you have curly hair, try to find stock photos with somebody who's also dark skin, curly hair, etc. Just to kind of paint a more, remember too, like social media is a trust building thing. So you definitely don't want to make people question you by having a stock photo of someone who looks completely nothing like you. Try to find some commonalities with the stock photo as well. Even if it's, okay, you're from the Caribbean and it's a stock photo with a Caribbean background, you definitely want to, just nurture that trust from the get-go.
yeah, and it may not even have to be an image of a person. It could be an image of a place, or it could be image of some kind of
Definitely.
graphic, or some color or something of the sort, and then you can start to build a kind of some identity out of that. And identity essentially is just the visual components of your brand, people. That's all we're talking about. So you may want to do something that is always green or always blue or always something of that sort, and
Yeah.
that might be useful as well. Let me just take a real quick question from down here from Kieran. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to Sharon's question. Let's go down the line because I see people are commenting now and asking questions. So Sharon had asked earlier, how do you draw followers?
Whew.
That's a big question. What do you
That
think?
is. I think that if you're in the stage of social media growth, you should really consider the type of content that you're posting, right? So, first things first, when did we get above word of mouth referrals? If you're new to social media and you have no followers, get your friends, get your family, get them to follow you, right? At this stage, you're simply trying to build up credibility because it's harder for people to follow you if nobody else is following you, right? That's the truth. So ask your mommy, ask your grandmommy, anybody with a social platform, say, hey, I just started this business, etc. I'm trying to build up my following. Do you mind sharing and do you mind asking 5 of your friends to share? Right? So that's one of the initial steps, like with every single body. Nobody is above that. Sometimes you feel like I'm above that. Nobody is above asking people to actually follow your business page. If you have a personal page, share your business page over on your personal page. let people know, hey, I started this venture. Could you please follow and show me some support? That can go a long way, right? After you've done that now, we go into actual content creation and using a lot of visibility strategies, right? So
Mm.
the aim is to use your content in a way that new eyes are likely to find you. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, again, it's so broad in terms of platforms and everything, but like let's say, you're heavy on Instagram, you can definitely consider utilizing reels, or let's say you just started on TikTok, you could definitely consider, posting a lot of TikToks that are likely to capture audience and that are likely to be trendy and all of that, right? You can definitely consider sharing or posting or creating content that other people are likely to share, which would be quotes, tweets, really relatable videos, etc. Right? Because again, the aim is to get new eyes over on your profile. Um,
Right.
did I miss anything? What would you add, Juma, to this? I feel like I have a long list. Collabs. So collabs like this one, sorry. Collabs like this one is so integral. Like all the new people who are seeing me for the first time, and then my community who I invited to this live, they are seeing Juma for the first time. So guess what? They may hit that follow button on LinkedIn, that connect button. They may hit that subscribe button on YouTube, etc. Right? So all of that to say, like I think those are like some of the really good strategies you can implement to draw followers. But if this is your stage, then you should be prioritizing a lot of growth type content. What would you
Right.
say? How would you
Right.
add to that?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, one of my
Mm-hmm.
big I am a big, very big advocate for um always sharing something that obviously is useful, but always sharing something that people could just get a quick win from. Is very easy to
Cooking.
digest. And it's like I could implement this fast. Like I could be very practical about it. So share something that when people get it, they'll be like, oh, this is great. Let me just go do this one time. And it doesn't even have to be a long video or a long post. It could be like listicle. Like that, of course, a listicle is just simply an article and a list smashed together. So it's a list of things, and it might be 3 things that you can do to get more followers. It might be 3 things you can do to make your garden greener. And you just give somebody a very, very, very quick win, and they go away with it, and they're like, "Oh, this was a quick win. This person might know what they're talking about. Let me come back." And then so when you give people quick wins like that on this short form content, you tend to get people who could like share. You could share this with somebody. I will be like, oh, Leon should know about this. She needs to know about how you could this secret about TikTok, and somebody will share it to you, and then you get that. So those kind of listicle formats are really happy. Are really I'm saying happy. I'm thinking happy, which is good. Are really great for for this driving engagement and getting followers and people who can be like, oh yeah, let me get this quick win. I'll come back once I have this quick win. You know.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So like, and I'm very, because my copywriter brain is like, you're using words like the secret, the hack, a quick way to get, so people immediately feel pulled in and they're like, ooh, this is good. He
Yes,
helped
yeah.
me here. Let me connect with him because I don't know how else he might help me in the future. So I like that.
Right. Excellent. All right. So that's Sharon's question that got answered. Let us go now to Sharon. Well, this is a massive question. I mean, there's so many
Wow.
tools out there. We're not going to address this. I'm probably going to try and save this for last. Sharon, thanks so much for the question. I appreciate it. By the way, Sharon is from Jamaica. Sharon, thank you so much for tuning in from Jamaica and for asking this question. We're going to save this for last probably and get back to it. I know one of the Facebook people who said goodnight earlier. I think it was Ganesh. Ganesh said goodnight, and Kieran was
Hi.
saying, he said the ideal audience identification is difficult for some organizations, especially in the public sector. What is your take on that, Leon?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who have challenges with ideal audience would be people who would argue that they're serving everyone. So, like insurance agents, like they are like, you know what, I can help anybody. I can sell insurance to everyone. Someone in the but public sector is such a broad term, but like let's say they're like Ministry of Education, they're like, I'm targeting everyone, like secondary, tertiary, parents, everybody, you know. So I would say that you can have a broad ideal audience. That can happen as well. But I think even though you have a broad ideal audience, you can definitely challenge yourself and ask yourself if out of everybody, there was a group of people who I would want this to reach because it would benefit them the most, who would it be?
Yeah.
Right? So like using the examples of the insurance agents, they can sell to anyone because everybody needs insurance, right? Even kids. Anyone needs insurance for anything. Right? So I get that and I don't disagree with it. But again, what makes the most sense for someone who is in the insurance industry? So for example, someone can argue that maybe it makes the most sense for them to target a young corporate individual who is likely to not have insurance, who is likely to be able to afford insurance because they now got their first job, they don't have any insurance, and as they continue to grow and age, maybe they'll get married, so they may want another type of insurance. Maybe they'll have kids, they'll want another type of insurance. Maybe they'll buy a home, they'll want another type of insurance. They'll get a car, they'll want another type of insurance, you know? So like what makes the most sense? Like which target audience group of people are likely to continue buying from you over and over and over again? So kind of looking at the lens of a customer to kind of determine, okay, what makes the most sense when it comes to targeting that particular person versus if they were to target like someone in their 70s, 80s, and they purchase like retirement or some sort of like, you know, insurance that's suitable for them. And then, God forbid, they pass like 3 years later and they only buy from you once, you know?
Right. I think too, in terms of ideal customers, the public sector should actually be very easy. Why? Because you choose your ideal customers based on data you already have, right? And if you don't have that data, then you have to get a way to collect that data. So everybody who is starting off content is an exercise of discovery. It's an exercise of testing. So you throw your content out there, and then you mentioned it. It's another piece of content that you did. What you do is that you ask people, how did they find you? And most people were like Instagram. And then you say, well, if people finding me on Instagram, let me double down on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, and so
the
that's
issue isn't audience targeting, the issue is data analytics. A lot of people have data, but a lot of people either don't collect the data, or if they collect it, they're not sure how to analyze it.
Yeah, exactly. Now that I have all this information, what does it tell me? How am I supposed to look? Yeah, and the platforms are becoming better at that, but definitely, you know, in the public sector, they have a ton of data. Everything is a form. So you should be able to tell who you're serving by just looking at, just take 100 of them and look at it and see what is the same, you know, and as simple as that. And so you begin to discover what you could do with your stuff, you know. I would just say that. And great answer, Leon. And let me just take Ganesh's comment here. Okay, Ganesh said, one strategy I use for TikTok, creating a buzz for end users, the gardeners go look for the product in the stores, and for Facebook, for the agro plant shops to see the products I sell in the store, as most agro plant shops are still on Facebook. So he's kind of saying that for his product, which is like he sells soil, he's using different strategies on different platforms. And so the ideal customers for him on one platform is different to the ideal customers on the another platform, which definitely could happen. What do you say?
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. And I also think your strategy could be different for different platforms. So that even if you have one ideal audience, you can decide that on Instagram, I want to focus on more educational, promotional content. But on TikTok, I want to share more relatable. I want to pull back the curtain. And that's something I kind of do. Like my TikToks are kind of different from my Instagram because my Instagram is more hard facts, facts hitting, fun vibes, yes, but a lot of facts fitting, testimonials, all these things. On my TikTok, I actually peel back the curtain and I'm like, this is what being a business owner is actually like. Or this is how I get through my day-to-day. This is actually some of the questions a lot of people ask me that I don't know about. So you can definitely have different strategies for different platforms. And I think that works just fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think so for sure. And I noticed that difference in your content, by the way. I've noted that. Yeah, Instagram is definitely more educational. And of course, you run your live show on there, which is then turned into a podcast on Instagram.
Yes.
and so it's like you do a little
Yes.
bit different on TikTok. So I've noticed that. So
My
you know,
TikTok is more fun, free. Because again, we also have to ask too, like, what are people looking for when they go on a platform? And I feel like, I don't know about you, Juma, but if I am on TikTok, it's already during the day. It might be like 10 o'clock and that scroll, the scroll we're not supposed to take. That might affect our eyes. That scroll between 10 to 12 p.m. where we're like tired, but not tired enough, and you want to see things that you could definitely either resonate with, have kicks with a bit of edutainment, something that you do a lot of storytelling, something you do a lot, that's what you're kind of looking for when you go there. So like if I see somebody kind of teaching me something, I'll be like, I'm not in the mood to learn anything right now. It's 11 p.m. So yeah.
yeah. You have different. You can never really tell her. It's like you end up in a place where like one day you are looking. Oh my! Let me not go down the TikTok road. I'm having flashbacks of TikTok engagement. But everybody who's on TikTok, definitely I would advise, and I guess Leon would agree with me too, that take time to curate your feed. Make sure you only want things in there that you need. You want that it should be there, and you do that by scrolling past things real quickly and then following people. So
Yeah,
do that.
definitely. Definitely.
All right, so let me ask the question now of you have part of your system is creating a running list of content ideas. How does that work?
Yeah, so a lot of people are under the misconception that content ideas happen while they are seated at their desk looking at a blank Word document. That is not going to happen. Instead, let me tell you when the best content ideas are going to hit you. When you are helping your clients, so like I work with a lot of coaches, so like if you are coaching your clients, if you are dealing with clients on a day to day, you might realize they keep asking a particular question. You're like, I need to address this question in a post. Even if you're a product based business owner, people keep asking like, what are the different sizes? What are the different colors? You're like, people all keep asking you what are the different colors. I need to highlight this in a post. That's when the content idea is going to hit you there. Now, two things could happen. You can either get the content idea and then decide to, I'll deal with that later, and go about your day. And later never comes, or when you sit down and try to remember that really sweet content idea that you had, it's it's gone. So what I
Right.
teach my clients to do is actually capture it, right? And because we always have our phone next to us, I recommend capturing it in our phone. And here's how you can do this. You can either do it by, like, let's say you have a WhatsApp group with yourself alone in it. You can actually just write it in there very quickly. You can send
Hmm.
a voice note very quickly and be like, hot content idea that I got while I was packaging products. A lot of people keep asking me about the sizing. Make sure and mention measurements in the next post, right? And you just drop it and you continue your day,
Right.
right? Another content idea may happen like 10, 11 in the night while you're about to sleep and you're like, like that's so Raven, and Raven gets like this vision
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know the age group before
No, I know. I
Gen
know.
Z is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I know
what?
Raven.
Like that might happen as well. Again, you want to capture it as well. So I mentioned WhatsApp. You can also use, like, I use project management tools, my favorite being Asana. So I
Right.
use Asana and I just insert it as a task to myself under a board called content ideas, right?
Hmm.
You can also use a Google Documents. So in a Google Drive, you're able to create Google Docs, download the Google Doc as an app, so you're able to edit on your phone and you're able to type in, etc. And your aim is to just have a running list of content ideas. You're not trying to flesh out, you're not trying to record, etc. Right? You're just documenting it so that when you actually have the time to create, you're not
Hmm.
starting from scratch. The
Hmm.
aim is to never start from scratch. I
Hmm.
spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours every week creating content for Instagram, sometimes TikTok, sometimes an email here or there, right? And that is because I never start from scratch. During the week, my clients give me the best content ideas, especially if you're a coach or a service provider and you actually someone talking to your clients a lot.
Hmm.
Ooh, that is so valuable if you're able to talk to your ideal clients every day or every other day because they hit you with the best content ideas. They hit you every
Hmm.
single day. make a record of that, right? If you're a product-based business owner, what are some popular questions people keep asking you? Make a record of that, right?
Right.
What is your unique thoughts on something? So sometimes we go in an industry and people tell us something, or you're led to believe one thing, and then due to your unique experience as the expert, you realize,
Mm-hmm.
the maths ain't mathsing. It's not adding up. You realize that, and then you can say, you know what? A lot of people told me A, but actually I believe it's B, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
want to introduce a lot of what people call thought leadership. What are your unique perspective on old topics, right? There's a lot of old topics. We're kind of recycling the same topics over and over, regardless of what industry you're in. But what could be new is your spin on a particular topic, right? So
Mm-hmm.
really and truly noting a lot of that and being like, a lot of people say you have to do this. I don't think you need to do this. You really just need to do this, this, and this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
actually making that running list of content ideas so that when you do have that time within your calendar to flesh out, to outline, you're using that and you're actually picking out and say, okay, this content idea I definitely want to talk about today. This content idea I want to do a video on today. This content ideas, etc. And I call it a running list of content ideas because you keep adding to it, you never take away from it. Because
Mm-hmm.
one content idea could be spent in how many ways, Juma? Like 10, 15?
I mean, innumerable amount of ways.
Innumerable amount of ways. One content idea, like if you have the content idea of, you know, a day in your life, you can actually share that by way of vlog. You can share that by talking about one specific thing. You can share
Mm-hmm.
that by talking about the reason why you do this particular thing. You can share in terms of what you used to do before and now how you actually run your day. You can share in terms of what is the results of running your day like this. There are so many ways that you can target one content idea. So that's why I call it a running list because you keep adding to it. The list just gets longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think the whole idea of recording it as you get it is really very critical. It's like very important because when it's fresh, it's like when it's the clearest. It's like a dream, the best time to try and tell somebody a dream is when you first get up. If you wait for the day, it's like you can't remember whether you're on a boat or whether you're on land. You can't remember the location. You can't remember the color of the thing. You begin to lose details. So the best
Exactly.
the best time to record is as soon as you get it. And just like you suggested, I literally just do the content in a voice note sometimes. Just do the whole thing.
Mm.
Just voice note it. Just rattle off the whole thing. This is my thoughts, and we put it down. And I'm sure there's kind of a content graveyard on my phone because sometimes I come up with an idea and it's not labeled properly, so you should label it too. And I
Mm.
never go back to it. And sometimes I'm scrolling through and I discover I made this 2 months ago. I should have made this content. And I didn't do it. And trust me, there's some videos I even record and I just never edit it. And it's like content that I should be
Mm.
sharing. So it's important to go back and check those things so that you don't lose your content because sometimes it becomes, life. You're living life, so you might just forget something.
Yeah, and I always say this is something I always say as well. Like you, when you are the most creative, which is when you're up doing things, should always be taking care of you when you're not so creative. So
Yeah.
when you're just
Yeah.
blah, maybe you're just not into it, etc. And you're like, oh, I have to create content today. Thank God the you in the past took care of you by providing a very detailed voice note because you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So you should always be taking care of your future self, and that means you're never starting from scratch when it comes to anything in your business. Otherwise, that's how it's at. We're not starting from scratch here.
Yes, definitely. Not starting from scratch. Let me just look at a couple more comments and then we'll go on to the other. We've been talking for a while, but we have another segment to go into. So of course, Kira telling Ganesh that his videos are fun and entertaining. Yes, Ganesh.
Aw,
Ganesh is doing well on TikTok.
thank
Sharon is
you.
saying thank you for the info earlier. Sharon, I don't know if we'll get to that question about the tools there. That tools question might have to be a whole thing by itself. Ganesh is of he's saying he tries to mix it up. Ganesh, no pun intended there. You go and Ganesh shell soil mixer. So I hope that's not pun he was trying to do there. And Shania is saying, I feel like differentiating Instagram Reels and TikTok are a bit tricky. Instagram loves aesthetic, but TikTok sometimes feels like a gamble. That's an interesting perspective, Shania. What's your perspective, your thoughts on that, Leon?
I agree with Shania actually.
Any,
Instagram is a lot of aesthetic. I wish it wasn't. And we're kind of moving away from it compared to what it was before. But TikTok is where you can get as real as you want is on TikTok, you know. But I would also say TikTok is a hit and miss. That's what I've experienced. When it comes to TikTok, it is a hit and miss. Sometimes you're very shocked in terms of which video blows up. But again, because we're always in a data collection, we are always experimenting, getting data, and then improving. So if you realize your audience like a specific or particular type of videos, then you create a bit more of that, right? With regards to Instagram Reels or Instagram on a whole, you realize it's a bit more aesthetic. You try to have a bit of aesthetic mixed into it, but I wouldn't say that lack of aesthetic would, what do you call it, will make your video like hit hit a zero because it's not aesthetically pleasing. I think a powerful message is the root of it all. And of course, if you could add aesthetic to it, awesome. But I think, okay, powerful message is the root of it all, right? If you know you don't want to be an aesthetic account, make sure that your message is as powerful as possible so that people are willing to look past all the aesthetic just to get the message from it.
yeah, agreed, very much so, agreed. Yeah, because you could blow past aesthetic when you deliver value and the thing relates to the people. Agreed.
Exactly.
And talking about agree, let's go into the segment that we call Agree Disagree with Leon George. All right, this is the segment called Agree Disagree. My internet is acting up, so hopefully you'll hear me properly.
Yeah.
So Agree Disagree is a segment where I make some statements and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. These statements are not reflective of what I agree or disagree with. They are just general statements, and some of them are specific to you. All right. Okay, so let's jump into Agree Disagree. This is the standard question I ask everyone when they come on the show. I ask them, agree, disagree, passion before skill.
Agree.
Agree. Okay. All right. I'm gonna let you explain that one, right?
You're going to or not going to?
Unless you really, really want to. I'm not gonna have you explain.
Yeah, because I would always say that skill could be learned.
Right.
You know, I went from a lawyer to a marketer. That's like a complete 180. Skill could be learned. I honestly believe I could learn anything. Especially if I'm passionate about learning it. And the way everything is changing, you need to keep learning everything. So a skill isn't enough. That's my view.
All right, no worries. Well, that's good. That question is normally split down the center usually. By the way,
okay.
Yeah. All right. So agree, disagree. Relatability is critical for content engagement.
Agree.
All right. Next in line. Agree, disagree. You should respond to every comment on content you post.
Not every single comment requires a response.
Oh,
the old me would have said yes, but the new me is kind of like, we all got things to do. Like if you post an emoji, I'm just going to like it. You know, maybe that's going against the social media rules.
I don't know. I know. So is that the only case in where you would not respond? Where if
that's probably the
posts...
only case, and then there may be instances where I might just respond back with emoji. So I would say yes, you should respond to every single content you post. I would agree, but at the same time, like if someone posts like an emoji, you could just like it. You know, that's the only exception to me. But anything else, I would respond.
All right, let me see what people are saying here.
Oh my God.
Who said somebody said disagree? I can't tell what you're agreeing and disagreeing to.
Yes,
down in the comments, by the way.
Like...
I wish you could I should number these from now on. I'll probably number these
poll,
so I can tell
or like a poll for them to click.
what people share it. So sorry people, I'm seeing people agreeing and disagreeing. I'll probably just check after every question so I could see what people are saying, right? All right, so let's go on to the other one. Agree, disagree. Unless you're Beyonce, write a caption.
Oh my God. This was my first post on Instagram, definitely. A lot of people are like, is this a video? I don't need to write a caption. You know, you want to definitely target how different people consume information. So only Beyonce, Queen Bee can get away with that. Us, regular
Right.
folks, let's write a caption.
All right. Well, I don't need to know the answer for this one now in the comments. I'm gonna skip that one. Somebody's saying they respond to every comment. So that's Ganesh. Yeah,
Okay.
Ganesh is saying he responds to every comment. I respond to every comment on LinkedIn.
That's important.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a place, and not just so. If you learn how to comment on LinkedIn, you could comment anywhere because LinkedIn trains you to give sensible, content focused responses. The people who really do well on LinkedIn are people who comment based on the content that they've consumed and not just great post.
Generic content, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel also with LinkedIn, engagement is equally as important as posting.
Yeah. They put
like you don't get away with not engaging on LinkedIn.
Exactly. They put a heavy weight on. If LinkedIn is your first social media platform, you do well on it, you'll be well trained to take on other platforms. Because it's almost like a platform dojo. It's like it teaches you discipline. You get to experience with all formats. You get to learn how to comment. You get to learn how to interact with people. You see the value of engagement. So if somebody were to start off, it's hard, but if you learn how to do it, it's like what people say about New York or maybe Trinidad and Tobago. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, type of thing.
Anyway.
You know.
I love that. I love that for LinkedIn.
Right. Next one. Agree, disagree. Not everyone needs to have a behind the scenes content.
I disagree.
Why?
Because of what I agreed to earlier, like that level of relatability. I think in the past, it could have worked to just show you at the forefront. But I think like 2020 made a shift in consumer behavior. And we're no longer okay with just seeing the polished version of you. We want to see other sides of you. We're craving that sense of relatability and connection. So I don't think every behind the scenes means a day in my life, but I think that there are certain aspects of any business, no matter how big or small, that you can definitely share online.
Right. I hear you. And so lifestyle content is the same as behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Just want to make sure. Because I know you use the term lifestyle content as well. Earlier in your career, you were using behind the scenes, but at some point you switched over.
Oh my gosh, how far did you go on?
All right. All right. So, and lastly, agree, disagree. On social media, you grow more from doing rather than consuming.
Definitely. Oh, wait, definitely agree.
Yes, agree. All right, that's good. People generally, I give people an easy one for the last one. That tends to be easy to agree with. And so that brings us to the end of the agree disagree segment as we bring the show in for a landing. Leon, any last parting words to share with the community?
Yeah. Wait, did we answer everyone? I think there was one question. Oh, we're not answering that question.
The tools question, that's going to take forever. That's going to take forever. We had to do a show with tools just on its own. Sorry, Sharon, but yeah, that one we're gonna have to speed bump that one. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. So with regards to last words, if you definitely loved this discussion, I'd love if you follow me on my socials. Leeon George everywhere. Oh my god. Leeon George every single way. So I work really hard on that consistency throughout. When it comes to content creation, there's a lot of information out there. It's overwhelming, it's tiring, and it's confusing sometimes, right? You get to define your content creation process. Just like that last question, you learn a lot from doing. You can consume all Juma video all my content, go through my podcast. You can consume all of that. But unless you're actively putting yourself out there and integrating, that's how you would learn and that's how you would develop a system, right? We all need to start to be great, right? I started content creation and videos so awkward. I was so awkward, guys. Like I had so much personality and I was ashamed of like showing too much personality because I was like, I need to be formal and I need to look a particular way and act a particular way. And it was only through months that turned into years I started to loosen up and I started to, crack jokes and laugh and all these different things. And that was because I did it over and over and over again. Right? If the reason you're not creating content is because you're not great, then you're doing it wrong. If you wait until you're great, you started too late. I think it's Gary Vee who said that. If you wait until you're excellent at anything, that means you started way too late. That means you should have started sooner, right? It doesn't take much for you to create because there are so many platforms that make it easy for you. You choose one and you go full speed ahead. You gain data from it, you seek feedback, and you make amendments along the way. That's how you become great, right? And if you're here, if you're tuning into this live at an hour that I would usually be asleep, right? It means that, you know what, you are serious about what you are doing. You have a goal, you have a vision for your life. That's what it means. So it really requires you to be like, okay, let me be willing to be uncomfortable for a few months if it means that I'm going to get closer to where it is I want to be. Right. So I'll leave with those words like, don't be afraid of discomfort and trying something new. Content creation is fun, it's exciting, and all the props goes for the people who are actually in the ring. If you're not creating content, like, I don't even want to hear you. I don't even want to hear you. I want you to create, make a mess. I want you to make a mistake. I want you to not understand something and then come. Right? That's what I want for you because that's how you grow the fastest. Yeah.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. Encouragement for everybody to go out and do something and not just look, look as it's nice to look, but it's also nice to do stuff. All right, and so we know Leon George everywhere. If you want to check out Leon's website, you can go to leongeorge.com. And also, if you want to check out our podcast, which is very good, you could go to Master Marketing and Monetize with Leon George podcast. Go check that out everywhere podcasts can be listened to. Thank you so much, Leon, for coming on today. I appreciate it. I'm sure the community appreciates it very much. And thank you, community, for being with us. And we'll see you soon on another episode of the Useful Content Creation Show. Bye, everyone.